Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Amin here and I am vlogging another week in my life. I am a prenatal genetic counselor in Toronto and I thought it would be interesting for me to take you along my week, Monday to Friday, kind of share what is the week in the life of a genetic counselor. I have vlogged a few week in my lives before. I started vlogging when I was a student in graduate school, so I have some week in my lives there, and then I have some, I've been working now for a little over a year, so I've done a few videos here and there, other vlog style videos as well. So, I'm just doing another one for me to share with you guys. Today is actually Tuesday. I have some footage from Monday, which I'll share with you as well, but Monday was really, really busy for me. I was very productive at work. I did everything that's on my list. And then I'm studying for my Canadian boards exams. So basically I did a boards review webinar type of thing for Bayesian analysis, which is like not fun at all. It's like the worst part. Well, math is the worst in general, but the worst part of studying for boards. So I did that last night. It ended at like 10 p.m. So it was from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Really exhausted. And then Tuesdays I work from home. We just started working from home one day a week at my job. And so it's my second time working from home. It's kind of nice, to be honest. I don't have to commute. My commute is like an hour one way. So I'm just taking my lunch break now. And I think I'm going to share, I've done this for my previous vlogs as well, where I share all of my cases at the end of the week. It's a little too difficult for me to, take the time out every single day to share the cases that I'm going through. I am noting them all down for you guys, and then I'll review them in general terms at the end of the week. Obviously, I'm not going to use any like names or any birthdays or anything that can give away like patient information, just generally the types of cases, types of scenarios that I see as a prenatal genetic counselor. I do 90% prenatal, 10% general or preconception. When I was looking into genetic counseling, when I was interested in going to school, there was nobody out there that was doing vlog style videos. I feel like you see a lot of vlogs for other healthcare providers like doctors, medical students, nurses, all of those things, but no one out there for genetic counseling. So I thought I would be the one to do it. So yeah, I'm just taking my lunch break now. I'm gonna eat some food. I might sit outside because I'm at home and it's really sunny outside. You can probably tell from my window. And then we're gonna, continue on the rest of the day. The rest of the day is mostly like admin stuff for me. This morning I had an appointment and then a meeting, and now I'm gonna take lunch. And then after lunch, it's mostly like, admin stuff, calling out results, doing paperwork, documentation, writing letters, all that fun stuff. And that's it. I'm gonna take you along for the rest of the week, and I hope you enjoy this video. Okay guys, it's basically 8 p.m. now. I finished work at 4:30, I logged off. I didn't have a commute, which was nice, but I was exhausted regardless. Like, I don't know, I don't know if working from home is for me. Like, if you guys do it, let me know what you think. Do you prefer it? Do you not prefer it? I don't think my job will ever be like full-time work from home. I think potentially could be like a couple days from home and then, the rest of the days in the office. But it's nice like not having to like meal prep and like not having to commute and drive, and it's nice to like just sit outside and do nothing. But like, I don't know, I just feel like less motivated. When I first did it, I was super productive last week, and now like I had almost everything crossed off my list, but I was just like drained by the end of it. I don't know, let me know what your thoughts are. But basically I logged off at 4:30 and then I took a nap because I was exhausted. And then I went to the gym. I'm still doing personal training. And so every Tuesday at 6 p.m. I go to the gym, did that. And then I came home, ate dinner, and now I'm gonna take a shower. I am probably gonna start watching The Bachelorette. I think the first episode came out yesterday, and I didn't watch the last season of The Bachelor because I didn't like the guy that they picked. There were so many other people they could have picked, and he just bothered me, so I didn't watch that one. But I think there's 2 bachelorettes now in 1 season, so they're always like trying to come up with something new and interesting because it probably gets very repetitive. So I just put up a poll on my Instagram to see if people think I should watch it. Last time I checked, it was 50-50. But honestly, I am ready for a relaxing evening. Like yesterday was exhausting. Tomorrow is also supposed to be a study day for me. So today is really like my only day to relax, like watch TV and stuff. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. And that's about it. I will probably just catch you tomorrow. It's Thursday after work. Feels like Friday. I honestly thought it was Friday all day long. It's again like 8 p.m. I came back from work. I honestly was feeling kind of stressed, kind of burned out. And vlogging is also taking away from like my me time. But I had therapy today. So I came home at like 6, I drank tea, I closed my eyes for like 5 minutes, and then I had therapy, which I do virtually. I've talked about it before on my channel, probably link up a video here somewhere about kind of my journey. But it was so helpful, as it always is. I feel so much lighter already. I meet with my therapist once a month now. We used to do bi-weekly, and then we reassessed, and I'm okay with a month. So I do a month, and it's my grandpa's birthday today, so we are going over for dinner and cake and stuff like that, and more social time, which is what I talked about in therapy a lot. Is like summer is so busy, and now that I'm studying and social events are happening, and at work we have a student for the summer who is finishing up their rotation now. Like I'm just expelling a lot of energy, and I don't have enough time to like be alone and do my own thing. And you can probably tell that from this whole vlog. I feel like I'm doing so much, and some of these things are just out of my control. Like I can't control when the board exam is written. I can't control, you know, what's happening at work. We've had like a busy referral month already, so I can't control like the referrals that come in. My social events I kind of can control, but also don't want to miss out on the events because really all my friends are back home for the summer, so we kind of have to use it as much as we can. And yeah, that's pretty much some of the thoughts that I've been feeling, some of my random thoughts. Okay everybody, thanks for sticking until the end of the video, and as I promised, I'm going to share everything that I actually did in detail over this week. It actually ended up being a quite busy week, and I was pretty exhausted every single day, so I definitely didn't have the energy to talk about things then, but I thought it would be good if I lumped up the different new patients that I saw and then the follow-ups that I did, and then of course always administrative stuff, which you would have seen like on my to-do list every single day. So basically I think in a week I probably see about 6 cases in a week. Most of them are prenatal, and one of them usually is like a general not pregnant case. Let me count how many new cases I had this week. So I had 5. Yeah, I would say on average I have about 5 cases a week, 5 new patients a week. So about 1 a day. Sometimes, yeah, it really varies, 1 a day, 2 a day. It's hard with prenatal because it's unpredictable. There are times when I've had 3 patients a day, which is really exhausting, which I had on Friday. I had 3 patients a day because you never know, you can never predict what's coming next. Everything is really last minute, really urgent. But of course the non-pregnant ones, I can book them in advance. So I usually book 1 a week for that. So the new cases that I had this week, The first prenatal case was an NIPT, which is non-invasive prenatal testing or non-invasive prenatal screening test. It's blood work done for the pregnant person looking for chromosome abnormalities, the common ones. And they usually report sex, so fetal sex on these reports. And this person's report came back low risk for the trisomies, so Down syndrome 1813, but they couldn't make a call on the sex, so they couldn't say if it was male or female. Obviously, there's a whole different thing about sex chromosomes, right, which we won't go into, but basically the lab was saying this is quite common, especially when the fetal fraction is below a certain percentile. They said the quality control measure was different for the trisomies versus the sex chromosomes, so they were not concerned that there wasn't any additional risk for sex chromosome abnormalities above the baseline general population. So just talking to the patient about that, but also going back and forth with the lab before talking to the patient to get as much information as possible, because I had never seen this before. So going back and forth with the lab on the phone, on email, like relaying all this information to the patient who also actually talked to the lab directly. So that was the first new case that I had. I'll do the next new prenatal case that I had, which was family history of hemophilia A, which is a type of bleeding disorder. It's an X-linked condition, so that means females are usually carriers, not symptomatic, and then males present with the disease. In this one, it was a sibling had two boys that were affected with the disease. Just an FYI, like if you are aware of a family history of a genetic disorder, you can get counseling and testing before you're pregnant. Anytime pregnancy happens, everything is obviously urgent and more stressful and time limited. So I'm just putting it out there. If you have something in your family that you know of and you want information, do it before you get pregnant. But in this case, obviously that wasn't the case for this person, so they were already pregnant. We didn't have access to the records, like the familial records, because the family members were in a different country, and she said it would take a while to like go through the doctors and get genetic test reports. So since it was a pregnancy situation, it was urgent, we just offered the basic tests that we would, and hopefully they'll be able to pick it up. And in the meantime, like the blood work has already been sent. In the meantime, if we get more information, we'll just let the lab know later on, like, hey, specifically this variant that's running in the family, like please check for this one. But yeah, because things are urgent in a pregnancy, and if they wanted diagnostic testing, we would have to arrange that. If it was a boy, it was a whole thing. So yeah, that was the first one I had on Friday. Second one I had on Friday was the NIPT test, again positive for trisomy 18, and obviously arranging testing for this person. They were very early in the pregnancy, which is good because we have lots of time. They had the option of doing the CVS or the amniocentesis, so booking in those tests for them. With the tests that we do in Ontario, there's a couple of different options, but they're not as accurate as it is for Down syndrome. So for trisomy 18, it's not like 95% chance or anything like that. I think it was in the 60s for this specific case. So, they had, the part that kills me about prenatal is I sometimes make people's, like I just shatter their world sometimes. And in this case, like they were told by their doctor that, we were screening positive for a chromosome condition, but they didn't tell them which one. They didn't tell them what the chance was. So this couple came online, and right when I told them the news, like people always start up here and then I tell them the news and then it goes like down, like plummets, their whole world literally shattered. So I felt bad because I was giving them so much information, and I kept saying like, if we need to reschedule, that's fine. If you want me to like repeat some information, that's fine. But every person reacts differently to things as well, which is very, very interesting. Or as I find it very interesting, like how people react and absorb to news. So many people have like different coping mechanisms. But anyways, they were like information seekers. Like I told them like not to Google things. Sometimes I do that where I'm like, if you look up something like trisomy 18 on the internet, it will be bad. I'm telling you, like I tell people generally what it is, and it's bad, right? It's like a bad condition. So I'm like, don't look it up. You're gonna go down a rabbit hole. It's gonna stress you out. Like we don't even know for sure if this is happening. Let's just do the diagnostic test. We'll see what comes up, and then we'll have a very detailed discussion if it's the case. So yeah, that was that one. And then the last one I had on Friday was a joint case, so joint with a geneticist, which means that it's kind of a little bit out of the scope of just counselors, and every clinic runs differently. So I know some clinics where the counselors do everything on their own, but we do kind of a joint model. So there were multiple congenital anomalies seen on the ultrasound. So baby's head wasn't growing as on par with the rest of the body. So it was like restricted, the head growth, and it was lagging behind by like 3 or 4 weeks. And the brain, not even the brain shape, the head shape was not like circular. So it was very like medicalized. So usually in those joint cases, I'll do like the counseling part in terms of like the family history, the medical history, and then explaining a little bit about the diagnostic testing options if they wanted to know, even though our suspicion for a genetic condition was low in the specific case. But you know, if they want to rule some things out, that's an option. And this person did want to rule things out. Again, information seekers. Every person, again, reacts to things differently. So those were the new ones that I had this week. The pregnant ones, and then I had 2 not pregnant ones, so general. The first one was for suspected carrier of alpha thalassemia, very common blood condition. Usually with these ones, they're like young people who are, you know, family planning and trying to get carrier tested and things like that, or if something's running in the family, right, like I was saying. I didn't pay attention to how old this person was because I'm so used to seeing like young people like in their 20s and 30s literally family planning, and I log on and it is an old man, and he was so nice, so kind. But basically he was like, I don't really know why I was referred, I'm not concerned about this, I have grandchildren, they're healthy, and I just have some other health things that I'd rather focus on than, you know, go down this path. And I was like, cool, no problem. So it was like the quickest session I've ever had. Gave them the information and I said I'm gonna write it on all in a letter if, like, you know, later down the road you're interested in learning a little bit more, but at this point it's not a priority for you, no problem, moving on, I have other things to do. Okay, and then the last new case I had this week was a young person with a family history of some kind of muscular atrophy. So 2 people in their family were affected with it, and they just recently, after so many years, after like 20 years, finally got a genetic diagnosis that fit the clinical picture. They were misdiagnosed before because they just didn't know what it could be. And then while we were taking the history, so it was me and the student, we were picking up on this person might have some features of the condition themselves. And so that's kind of like, okay, it's out of my scope now. And then I reviewed it with a geneticist and they're having a follow-up with this person in person to do their own assessment. So that was the last new case that I had this week. And I just had a lot of follow-ups. I'm following a patient right now that we just diagnosed with hemoglobin Bart's disease in the pregnancy, very severe thalassemia disorder. I see a lot of like hemoglobin disorders just because we see such a diverse population where I work with, and they're very common around the world. So we were seeing ultrasound abnormalities, we did a lot of testing, and then the conclusion was that it was Bart's disease. So they're continuing the pregnancy, and we're just, they've already been referred to like a special pregnancy program, and they're getting like in utero transfusions because of Bart's disease. The baby's not making really any of their own blood supply, any of their hemoglobin supply. So following up with them. And then following up with another pregnancy that has been diagnosed with Noonan syndrome. They're also continuing the pregnancy. I've been following them for a very long time, even with the other, usually like we're following people for a really long time, and then we keep doing test after test after test, and you finally get a diagnosis, and then it's like, okay, do you want to continue the pregnancy? Do you want to end the pregnancy? What's your preference? You know, all of the actual counseling part of it. So I'm going to make a video about just prenatal genetic counseling in general. I did a Q&A type thing on my Instagram a while ago, and I'm going to answer those questions, which is why I thought I'm already dressed up, I'm going somewhere else, so I might as well just film my videos now. But I hope this video was enjoyable for you. Let me know if you want me to keep continuing to do them. I do them every few months. I hope this is really helpful for people that are interested in like what the day in the life or the week of the life is of a genetic counselor. I know I only do prenatal and general, and there's of course so many different genetic counselors out there, but is better than nothing is what I'm telling myself. So if you enjoy this video, definitely let me know because I'll continue to do them. Give it a huge thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of my content, especially obviously my genetics content if you're here, or if you're just interested in like what I do, because it's an interesting job, I would say. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.